For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And March for Jesus. 18th of May, visit Christian.ky for more information. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studio.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is For the Record.
For the Record. 1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Friday, the 17th day of May, 2024, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on our roads, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle. If you observe the rules of the road, then, folks, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, we want to wish you a happy birthday as well. And to remind you that, For the Record, birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Superior Auto. Superior Auto, they keep your car in tune. Call them at 949-9570 or 525-9571. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I have the pleasure of being your host right here on For the Record. My name is Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Toll-free number, not working, but we'll give it to you anyway. You can try it. 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. Follow us on YouTube by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream as well. Miss Susan, is the app, is it functioning now? Okay. Yeah, our Radio Cayman app is still malfunctioning, but you can certainly follow us on Facebook and view it there as well. So let's look at the birthday shout-outs, for today so far. So we see Miss Wanda Tibbetts Tatum celebrating her birthday today. Also, a big shout out to my good friend, Mr. J.D. Martin. He is celebrating a birthday today, and I have permission to say also that his age. He's 81 years young today. J.D. Martin, 81 years young today. Also, Mr. Peter Larder celebrating his birthday today. Those of you who are maybe even current or former employees of CIBC would remember Mr. Peter Larder. Also, while during his tenure here in the Cayman Islands, he was very active in the sporting community as well, a strong supporter of cycling in the Cayman Islands, along with the late Ted Gray and Mr. Bob Nunez as well. So we want to give a happy birthday shout out to Mr. Peter Larder wherever he is. And then we look at birthdays for tomorrow. Miss Sherry Borden Cowan celebrating her birthday tomorrow, as well as Andre Joy Borden. Mr. Richard Parchment, Mr. Richard Parchment celebrating his birthday today, as well as Mr. Dave Tatum. And I have to declare an interest in this one, but my sister, Arlene Campbell, will celebrate her birthday tomorrow as well. So I want to give her an early birthday shout out right here on For the Record. And on Sunday, we see, I hope I'm getting this right, Delta J. Watler Marty. Hope I'm getting that right, Miss Susan. I believe I know who we're talking about, but the first name, we'll get that, and I'll clean that up in terms of I'll get the name right in relation to that as well. Huh? Miss Della. Okay, Miss Della J. Watler Marty celebrating her birthday on Sunday as well. And again, tomorrow, Miss Sherry Borden Cowan, Andre Joy Borden, Mr. Richard Parchment, Mr. Dave Tibbetts, Arlene Campbell. Today, J.D. Martin, Mr. Peter Larder, as well as Wanda Tibbetts Tatum, all celebrating birthdays today as well. And folks, without the sponsorship of Coca-Cola and Superior Auto, this birthday shout out would not have been possible. So again, Coca-Cola, they're proud to support your birthday shout out. Coca-Cola is available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Superior Auto, they keep your car in tune. Call them at 949-9570 or 525-9571. Before we go to the commercial break, I just want to mention and say kudos and job well done to those persons who were involved with collecting and ferrying supplies to Rotan, the hospital in Rotan, Honduras, that was destroyed by fire. Again, whenever we are required here in the Cayman Islands, we rise to the occasion and we assist our brothers and our sisters wherever they are. And of course, Cayman Islands and Honduras has a very, very close connection. We just recently celebrated Emancipation Day here in the Cayman Islands, and as we know, that after the abolition of slavery here in the Cayman Islands, many of the freed slaves then moved to Honduras as well because of better opportunities there, at the time. So very close connection. So kudos. I think the Health Services Authority was involved in it. The Honorable W. McKeever Bush, Minister Turner, Minister Bryan, Ms. Sherry-Ann Smith, also involved in it. All of those persons, I've called a few names, but I'm sure that there are more, and I may have missed some. But again, going to show and demonstrating our Cayman kind here by reaching out, assisting them in whatever way that we can. Again, kudos going out to them. Let's take that commercial break. When we return, I have one guest in the studio. We're going to have another guest in the studio with us later on as well. So don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Thomas Eddington Bush, 1949-1989. Known affectionately by everyone in Cayman as Ed, Ed Bush was instrumental in the promotion of sports throughout the Cayman Islands. Ed was an avid sportsman who started playing football and cricket at the age of 15. He introduced the Cayman Islands to live broadcasting of sporting events on Radio Cayman. He worked for Radio Cayman for 15 years right up until his death. He was one of the station's most enthusiastic announcers and played a central role in the start of what is known now as the PM show on Radio Cayman. He was honored posthumously for his significant contributions to sports in West Bay when the Ed Bush playing field was dedicated and opened in 1994.
The Rotary Cayman Islands Sunset $10,000 raffle happening Saturday, May 25th. Tickets only $10, 3 tickets only $25, 5 tickets for $40 from any Rotary Sunset member. All proceeds will support Rotary Sunset community projects including Feed Our Future, the Sunrise Adult Training Center, Adopt a School program, the Marie Martin Georgetown Primary School, the Crisis Center, and many more. The new Rotary Sunset Club. NPO number 656. Get your ticket, get your chance. Rotary Sunset, creating hope in the world.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Hi, this is Juliana O'Connor Conley, the Honorable Premier of the Cayman Islands. I'm inviting you to come out to the March for Jesus, Saturday, 18th of May, 2024. Thank you very much.
Join us for the March for Jesus on the 18th of May 2024, starting at the 7 Mile Public Beach at 3 p.m. Then for our Thank You Jesus Praise and Worship concert starting at 6:30 p.m. on Albert Panton Street. For more information, visit our website at www.christian.ky and then click on the March for Jesus 2024 tab. See you at the March for Jesus.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Are you ready for Cayman Art Week? From Wednesday 22nd to Sunday, May 26th, you'll find local art on show and for sale at more than 30 venues across all 3 Cayman Islands. Explore galleries and pop-up exhibitions anytime throughout the week, or join one of our bus tours running in a different district each day. Admission is free and open to the public. You can check out what's happening and when at CaymanArtWeek.com.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, we have Miss Theresa Pitcairn and Dr. Steve McField. I'm going to give a quick introduction to both of them. We do have a caller on hold. We are going to accommodate that caller before we go to our 8 o'clock news. So, Doc, Miss Theresa, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. It's been a while. It's been pretty hectic, in here. On For the Record, but been pretty busy, but it's great to have both of you back on as well. So good morning, welcome, thanks for coming.
Hi, morning, thanks for the welcome, that warm welcome. And I'm not going to stay too long because I know that you have a caller on and we want to accommodate that call.
And good morning to you too. I'm not going to stay too long. Before you take the call, I just would like to say, I just discovered yesterday evening that my good friend and Lord Graham's mother passed on, and I would like to send my condolences to Lord Graham and to his family and all their friends in East End and all the community there in East End.
Yes, definitely. Okay, let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Are you talking about everything and?
Yep.
Okay, I'm not gonna make it. Try to
anything and everything.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at, but it didn't work. I just want to say, I just wondering in regard to the cruise ships. I know that this is our slow season, but from as far as I can remember, this is the less cruise ships I have probably seen in a long time here in the island. Last week we had very little, and this week we must have had like 2 for one day and 1 for one day, and there we goes again now this weekend, and there's no cruise ships. I don't know what's happening, but OC and your guests, a lot of people here that run taxi is depending on the cruise ships to make $1 to pay their light bill, water bill, and everything else. You understand? So we need an explanation, knowing that it's the slow season. Why is it that we're having lesser and lesser ships as the years go by? I haven't drove taxi in 4 months due to my illness, but it hurts me to know that people out here trying to make an honest dollar and there's no ships in the harbor. So I just hope that somebody can call and elaborate why we're having lesser and lesser ships as the weeks go by, even though it is a slow season. But even in the slow season sometimes, I don't think that we have ever landed 3 and 4 days of the week with no ships in this island. So I'll leave that with you guys.
Well, before you go, caller, I'll just add to that. It seems I'm trying to see if I can find the press release, but the opposition seems to believe that the government has abandoned the cruise sector. So this was a release on the 15th of May sent out by the progressives stating, let me find it here so I can read it to you, or at least a portion of it to you. It says, despite the government's positive talk about tourist arrival, the fact is we haven't even recovered to 2019 numbers. Meanwhile, our competitors have recovered and are surpassing us, attracting thousands of tourists away from Cayman. This loss means missed opportunities and millions of dollars in tourism spending that could have supported Caymanian families and small business as well. So that is part of what was said by the opposition. I'm not sure if I started that where it started. Yeah. But so they're saying that it appears as if the government has abandoned the cruise sector. I saw a story in the British Virgin Islands where it seems as one of the cruise companies, they have cut the number of stops in the BVI, and their reason for it is that the bad roads in the British Virgin Islands, the condition, of the roads in the British Virgin Islands, and that's a huge political issue there with them, in terms of repairing their roads there. So, it's interesting, but, they say he who feels it knows it, and those of you who are involved in the tourist industry and rely on cruise tourism, like you said, it is the slow season, but you still feeling it, you say.
Yes, I sorry, I feel like we're having less as the years keep going by, and we need an explanation because they're giving a license to taxi drivers on particular area month of the year, and what's the purpose of putting these people in the taxi business if there's no business for them? And some of these people who work at the port don't have a small van to go to the hotels or not even sign up with the airport to work at the airport. We got some, but not everybody is in the same category. You understand? Mm-hmm. So we really need a good explanation what's happening with the tourism business, so these people can go and find a side job or whatever the case may be. Because I am not hurting. Because I have a regular job. Okay, so the day that I don't have a regular job, I guess I will feel the pinch. But I feel for my taxi drivers, regardless of where they're from. But we all work together. We may not get along too hotly when we're ready, but I am concerned that they get something, because everybody needs to survive. Everybody needs to survive, and somebody needs to come out and tell us what's happening.
Yep. Okay.
So I will leave. Go ahead, Mr. McField.
Well, caller, I was just speaking to one of prominent restaurant operators a couple of days ago. He's my friend. He comes to see me sometimes. And he was telling me that, it's not only in the cruise ship, but in the usually stay over tourists in the hotels, that he said the revenue's down, real down, and they're having a hard time getting their revenues up in the 7 Mile Beach corridor. And one of the reasons for that, he says, is because most of the people who are coming now don't have any money. They don't have any money. They ship up to pay for the meals. They don't have any money, and he says that one of the very, very, very high class hotels on the 7 Mile Beach managers told him that they had to stop them from preparing meals inside their rooms, because they go to the supermarkets and they bring the plastic bags and they prepare the food from the supermarkets in their rooms. And he said, no, you can't do that. That's not what the hotel's rooms are for. And so it's all over now. And he says that they have come to the conclusion that the quality of the tourists, the people that they bring in here now, don't really have any money to spend. And it's not like the old days when people would come and bring their whole families and they were spending money in the restaurants and all that sort of stuff. He said that is going down. That is, they're losing that now and there. And he says, he was telling me that they're making less than 50% of the cash that they were making before in the restaurant industry.
Mm-hmm. Okay, caller, thank you. Thank you very much for that. Folks, we've reached that time of the morning, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, we will have a discussion with Dr. Steve McField, Miss Theresa Pitcairn as well. Miss T, just give us a snapshot of, some of the concerns that you have and what you really want to talk about this morning.
Yeah, so thank you very much, OC, for accommodating the conversation. So about a month and a half ago, I was invited to attend a session with the women at Fairbanks. And it was, I think that the particular group that organized it, they wanted to provide some support to the ladies. When we got there, my impression was that, we were going to have a quiet little conversation with the ladies and see how they're getting on, how they're moving on, how they're going to integrate into community. It was a shocking experience to realize that was a far removed concept among those ladies. Okay, it broke my heart.
So we're going to be talking about that as well as other things this morning. Folks, don't change that dial. You have just gotten a preview of what we will be talking about this morning. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Camana Bay and Airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
Radio station. Radio Cayman is the voice of the Cayman Islands.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. Robbery trial heads to Grand Court. Radio Cayman's Jevi Ebanks reports.
The trial of Garfield Silburn Jr. facing robbery charges began yesterday in Grand Court as a judge-alone proceeding. Justice Cheryl Richards Casey is presiding over the case. The charges arise from a series of previous robberies which Silburn Jr. denies. He's represented by Samson Law. The prosecution initiated their case before Justice Richards with the testimony of a detective from the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. The detective detailed his role in the investigation and presented evidence including CCTV footage obtained from a local liquor store, a nearby market, an insurance company, and a hardware store in the area. The proceedings are expected to span 3 days. Meanwhile, Silburn Jr. remains incarcerated at His Majesty's Prison Northwood due to prior convictions. Jevi Ebanks, Radio Cayman News.
Back in April, a devastating fire destroyed the Seoul Public Hospital in Rotan. But this week, a relief committee focused on providing support and assistance to the people of the country and the Bay Islands delivered badly needed supplies on a special Cayman Airways flight. CIG-TV's Donna Bush has more.
On a medical aid trip were Cayman Airways staff, senior civil servants, health city officials, HSA board members, and Parliamentary Secretary, the Honorable McKeeva Bush, who was instrumental in organizing the aid trip as chairman of the committee.
My job as the chairman, I brought it to the attention of the Premier, to the attention of Ms. Lizette, who is at the head of the hospital, the Honorable Minister, and Mr. Shamari Scott of Health City, and they all jumped into action.
Aid supplies provided to the people of Rotan at the temporary hospital site, which is a former church, includes a variety of medical items such as gloves, PPE gear, syringes, needles, and sterile gauze.
It means a lot to us how you all
fly all the way down here and bring these donations. You have no idea how much benefit it'll be to the hospital that we were able to put together. The administration, the way George has seen, we're still in need of a lot of stuff, and this is going to come in and help us quite a bit.
The delegation was on the ground in Roatan for 6 hours before returning to Grand Cayman.
And a cyclist is targeted in an overnight attack. Around 12:30 a.m. on Thursday, 911 sent police to a report of a robbery on South Church Street near Thompson Drive, where a man was riding along the street on his bicycle when he was slammed into by another cyclist. The victim was thrown off his bike. As a result, he was treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which takes us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller.
BBC News with Moira Alderson. Israel has accused South Africa of bringing a case to the UN's highest court over Gaza that's completely divorced from facts. South Africa wants judges in The Hague to tell Israel to immediately stop its military campaign. One Israeli lawyer said the arguments were based on an inversion of reality. For the first time, a temporary pier built by US troops has been used to get humanitarian aid into Gaza. The UN has welcomed the development, but it warned that reopening land crossings remained the most effective way to deliver supplies. The Chinese government has announced a major intervention in the struggling property market by buying up unsold homes. They'll be turned into affordable housing. The slump in the property sector threatens China's whole economy. A man reportedly armed with a knife who set fire to a synagogue in France has been shot dead by police. Officers were called after smoke was seen rising from the building in Rouen. The governor of the Sudanese region of Darfur has urged civilians to take up arms to stop the paramilitary rapid support forces from capturing Al-Fasher. The city is home to hundreds of thousands of people who've been displaced by fighting. Opposition politicians in Kenya have once again gone to court to try to block the planned deployment of police officers to Haiti. Last year, Kenya's president offered to send 1,000 officers to help tackle gang violence there. Taiwanese politicians have punched, shoved and wrestled each other in a dispute about reforms to parliament. The changes would give the chamber greater powers of scrutiny over the government. That's the latest world news from the BBC.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Are you ready for Cayman Art Week? From Wednesday 22nd to Sunday, May 26th, you'll find local art on show and for sale at more than 30 venues across all 3 Cayman Islands. Explore galleries and pop-up exhibitions anytime throughout the week or join one of our bus tours running in a different district each day. Admission is free and open to the public. You can check out what's happening and when at CaymanArtWeek.com.
The new KFC nuggets have arrived. That unlike the no-gets, ours are handmade using 100% white meat, unlike the no-gets. At KFC, we hand-bread every day to achieve the perfect flavor. After you try our delicious and crispy nuggets in the original recipe, you'll never settle for less. KFC, the real nuggets. It's finger-licking good.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its customers and the motoring public of wastewater infrastructure upgrade works along West Bay Road adjacent to Burger King and Camana Way. Preliminary activities will take place on Tuesday, 7th May, with the main works beginning on Wednesday, 8th May. These works are anticipated to last for several weeks. During this time, access to the southbound lane along West Bay Road will be somewhat, but not entirely, restricted. Water Authority Cayman and its contractor will maintain two-way traffic throughout. Traffic signs will be in place in the general vicinity of the works. All motorists are asked to drive with caution to ensure their own safety as well as the safety of the Water Authority and its contractor's staff. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it upgrades its wastewater infrastructure and apologizes for any inconvenience caused.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the very latest weather report. Current temperature is 86 degrees. Relative humidity is 75%. Your barometric pressure, 29.91 inches and rising. The wind is southeast at 10 knots. Overnight low temperature was 84 degrees. Synopsis indicate moderate southeasterly winds and seas are expected across the Cayman area for the next few days in association with a high-pressure system in the Atlantic Ocean. Satellite images show scattered low-level clouds over the Cayman area. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the low 90s with a heat index near 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Your winds will be southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Tonight, partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the upper 70s tonight. Your winds will be southeast at 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet as well. Low tide will be this afternoon at 12:27, high tide tonight at 7. The sun will set this evening at 6:52 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:50. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Monday morning. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
I was undercover and had just recovered the stolen artwork, but... Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with managing my insurance? Well, long story long. I found the art thief in France, but ended up becoming somewhat of a local celebrity. So I had to stick around for a while. But I was able to handle all my insurance needs with CG's online portal.
The online portal. Safe, convenient, simple. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The 8 a.m. weather update brought to you by
CG Britcay, where people come first.
Top of the morning to you. Let's take a look this time at traffic. Traffic is heavy coming off of the Estella Tibbetts Highway. Steady traffic in both directions on North Sound Road, and steady traffic as well coming off of Bobby Thompson Way and Agnes Way. As we look to Crew Road, slow moving traffic heading to Georgetown, and eastbound traffic on Crew Road is light to moderate, and traffic is moving along moderately further up on Shamrock Road and Rex Creighton Boulevard. On the Linford Pearson Highway, steady bit flow in traffic, and traffic is moderate on Edward Street into Georgetown, looking good on Shedden Road. Out of Georgetown on Shedden Road, moderate flow of traffic. As we turn our eyes to the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions, and traffic flowing at a good pace coming from the West Bay four-way stop. Owen Roberts Drive is light to moderate. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes past 12. We'll give you another look at traffic.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and Top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips. For all occasions and celebrations, let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Teens and young people living in Cayman, it's time to use our voices. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is putting together a 10-year national health strategy, and we need to be a part of it. Do you feel heard by your doctor or healthcare provider? Are you included in making decisions about your health? Can you access the services you need easily? Tell us what you think. Email mohfeedback@gov.ky or log on to gov.ky/health-wellness and participate today.
We were set to battle, and your Aunt Angie was leading the pack when...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with car damage?
Oh, right. Well, long story long. I took down the assassins and wound up inventing a new form of mixed martial arts. I became an international champion until one sore loser karate kicked my car. But I was covered with CG.
Covered for malicious damage and more. CG Britgay. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
This is Cody Scott, and I work in the water and wastewater sector. I am concerned about the vulnerability of our island's freshwater resources to climate change. Less rainfall and sea level rise affect the amount and quality of our natural freshwater. Households and the agricultural sector depend on these resources, as do our wetlands and forests. Protecting our freshwater resources is a critical priority. To learn more about the climate risk to our islands, visit www.gov.ky/climate change policy.
With Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, we have Miss Theresa Pitcairn, Dr. Steve McField. Miss Theresa is going to talk about her visit to H.M.P. Fairbanks and what she has discovered there and her take on it. Before we go there, one of our listeners has written in and said, good morning. Hi. Regarding cruise ships, Minister Bryan has long said, and that is from 2022, that the ship schedules would be reduced over the years because the larger ships cannot tender. This is the reason why he called for a referendum to the cruise port, or a referendum on the cruise port, and the ministry is working on plans for a new cargo/cruise terminal. It's sad that the lady is not aware since she is in the industry, but the public can find this information on www.gov.ky/tourism-transport in the news as well. It says that this topic is one that has been addressed by the minister, himself, and there are some resources. For instance, the Caymanian Times newspaper, cruise passengers significant reduction. That's an article there, in relation to that. And then there's a Compass article, cruise passenger visiting Cayman to be cut in half by 2024. So these are some of the news stories that were generated as a result of the remarks made by the minister. Sorry. Folks, my apologies, for that. Got a little bug in the throat there at the moment. So, Ms. T, I'm going to hand the mic over to you to get you started on your conversation.
Right. And what I'll do, I'll just share some of the notes that I made because what I did when I discovered what transpired or what is going on at Fairbanks, I sent the ombudsman and a WhatsApp that very night. I was so heartened and, felt really, really upset about the whole state of affairs there.
And I sent it deliberately to her because I know she is somebody that is proactive. She and I have a very good relationship. But the level of indignity that is borne upon those ladies, and I knew also that as an ombudsman, she had broad powers, the same broad powers that the Grand Court has to make summons and summons documents, witnesses review the administration of and the process with the So I
and she
reached,
can also initiate
that's
an
correct,
inquiry.
absolutely. And she had, and I'm not gonna. So this for me this morning is more about public awareness because I don't want to disrupt anything she may have commenced. I'm not gonna call any names or anything. This is just a general profile of what I observed, and the group that actually went with me. I'm not gonna speak to them either. I'm just going to talk about what my personal takeaway is with that. And this is not to disrespect them as well. So one of the main concerns, and, people tend to romanticize how prisons behave and so on. It's not like that at all. And I'm just going to touch on a number of the issues that I raised with the ombudsman. And one is mental health. One of the ladies that was there, she suffers from bipolar. She has bipolar, and she's incarcerated there. And what tends to happen when you have persons like that, and she was unashamed, she came out and she says, Theresa, you can call my name if you need to or whatever. I obviously won't. But she says, I shouldn't be here. I know I shouldn't be here. I know I'm diagnosed with bipolar, and I know I'm disruptive to the members that are here as well. No, they're not stupid. And what the ladies proceeded to say that, it's good that X recognizes this, but there are also persons there in leadership that tends to abuse this relationship, because when you have somebody with certain mental health issues, that creates a lot of tension between persons that are there that don't have mental health issues. And I understand from them that, they would just post people against one person against the next, simply to abuse one person that is who leadership may feel is not, they're having a bad day with that person. When we went, this wasn't something that was necessarily organized, and what was really keen, everybody had the same story. This was a free-flowing, fluid, authentic conversation. At first they felt a little scared because they didn't know whether or not we were there to quote-unquote carry news to X. And I said, no, this is a safe space. We just want you to be transparent and tell us about your experiences there. One of the first comments that came out, one person said, look at so-and-so, look at the mold. And I'm looking and I'm seeing, and then the person went and, touched different places. The place full of mold. Wow. And so I said, I then said, most of us that were, I said, when the independent bodies come to visit you guys on a regular basis, don't you speak to them about these issues? And it's almost invariably everyone responded, of course we do. But people don't respond. There's a term that one of them used to describe how they're told first thing in the morning that they have to clean the rooms and so on and so forth, just to present that appearance of being, everything is good. And I said, but when you're there, aren't you honest and have these, says it just falls on deaf ears. Nobody believes them. Nobody listens to them. So I said, the persons that are in administration and that are responsible, is it everyone that behaves this way? So some said, they had persons that were there before who actually cared and wanted to make a difference, but persons like that leave. I'm just saying now, these are impressions that I'm getting from these ladies. Not just one, not just two. There was even one of them that was sitting close to me, and that person didn't really speak too much throughout the whole time we were there. And she said, I'm here, I'm quiet, I'm afraid, I'm not going to say anything, but I agree with everything that these ladies have said. So you had that whole issue with persons who were there with mental health. And then I talked about the human rights abuse, because I said, look, you guys have a right to be treated properly, with humanity, with dignity by the custodial staff. And I said, this is ensconced in our Bill of Rights. There's certain minimum services that we as a government is required to produce for you guys. I said to them, the fact that you're incarcerated does not mean, for example, that you can't dream of leaving here, that you can't have some self-pride. And then I would ask about, well, what are the processes that we have in place to reintegrate them into community, to resettle them into community? I says, so one lady said, Miss Theresa, this is what can happen. This particular person had a working arrangement with someone, and with an intention to rebuild a career. And the person spoke about why they were there, and you get it, And it reminds me of the what Michael Miles and Bonnie tried to do years ago, and they invited me to participate, where we would go into the high schools and talk about socialization, talking about culture, talking about careers, encouraging our kids not to go into the prison, showing them real life. We went through that. Of course, stuff like that is really useful, we don't recognize it as useful, so it's not properly funded. So that kind of fell by the way. But that actually brought my mind back to what this lady was talking about. She said, I'm here because I have 5 kids. And I encountered a situation where I couldn't make certain payments to certain institution, and I got really upset. And she said, I too suffer from, some mental issue, and that was not even taken into account when so and so. And I said, and then of course that just brought on a whole different conversation, because they talked about the judiciary. Many of them said the judiciary don't have any heart. You look at so many of those women that are there from different communities, and it broke my heart, and I've said it before, because I'm a mother, I have children. I can barely imagine what it would be like for me living in the United States, in a jail in the United States, not having any relative in the United States, not knowing anyone in the United States, not having even legal representation, or not even being able to afford it. So I'm saying, something is just really, really wrong with this, So that led to other conversations that we had about I think it's an independent monitoring board that is really mandated to go there and visit. And I said, do they ask these questions?
I think it's called is it a prison review board or something like that?
I know, but I just remember it's something independent, and they have certain responsibilities. So when I tried to look at the report that they must have been prepared about the prison and stuff like that, I couldn't find any. But I did find an article that was posted in CNS from 2018 or 2019 talking about the former minister and what she thought was important in terms of having the developing coping skills and allowing them to better integrate into community. I don't know where we are now with this, but each one of those people that's in those ladies, because I can't speak for what goes on at Northward, and I'm only speaking of that experience, that brief experience that I had with those women. They're human beings too. They have rights too. They have the right to dream again and rebuild their lives. One of the first things I did when I think the Monday morning, when I was told that there wasn't anything formally that was structured to teach them things, teach them different skills, because many of them are in there for, reasons that people make mistakes, right? And I spoke to Liv over at UCCI and Gilbert, who's the chairman of the UCCI board, and I said, we got to do something. We have to design some program at UCCI which enables persons who have developed the rights within the prison system to come to the classes, and have them properly monitored and so on. But don't take away that right for them to actually rebuild themselves and to become a law-abiding part of our community. And as things stand right now, I just see this sense of hopelessness, a prevailing depression. They don't have, they feel like they're just locked away in this place and they're invisible. And pretty much don't have any rights. And I just think that was just wrong, plain wrong.
You mentioned legal representation. If you could, dive into that, a little bit more. And were you able to discover if there are any programs that they're involved with there that are designed to help them to reintegrate into society?
That was one of the first things I asked. And then I spoke to someone, and I'm being very careful so that I don't expose anyone. I spoke to persons who have who are aware of whether or not, for example, NAU or DCR provides any form of assistance, and the persons with whom I spoke says it exists, but it's not something that is structured, and people really only call to find out, how well people are doing. But it is not something that is organized and designed to address the needs of the prison necessarily. So there was one lady that I know, and her point was, unless you have money to actually appoint a lawyer, you can kiss any rights that you have away, because when you bring a lawyer in, they take you seriously. And then she says, well, not all of us can afford lawyers. And this is what I mean when I say, not having adequate legal representation. I don't know what the guidelines are right now for sentencing with our judiciary. I never really had the chance to go and check that out. But what I want to do at some point in time is to, now that I'm having this public conversation for awareness, is to speak to persons who I know that are on the bench and invite them to have another look at the sentencing guidelines, especially too for persons who are here from other. One lady is she's almost 70, I understand. Wow. And she's, she said that, her work, and that's the other thing too, they do a lot of work, and it's not 9 to 5 either. And there's some complaint about, whether or not people are overworked. I don't know what really transpired. I only know what all of these ladies said. And like I said, this wasn't orchestrated. People weren't prepared to come and have this conversation. They just spoke, and they spoke. I later discovered a couple of days after I wrote to Sharon that it appears as though there were persons who have now taken this one level now after that evening and reported it to her office. So I'm not going to say anything more about that, because I know she has certain responsibilities with that. Now, if we hadn't gone that afternoon and had that conversation, and then, of course, I was made to understand subsequently that because these folks raised the concerns, they're being treated, So I just wanted to raise that this morning.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, a conversation with Miss Theresa Pitcairn and Dr. Steve McField will continue. Don't change that dial. I know some of you may want to talk about the tourism. The topic of tourism that was raised earlier, we will give you an opportunity to do that later on in the show as well. So don't feel discouraged. We will put that signal out there when we're open for other discussions as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, this is Juliana O'Connor Conley, the Honourable Premier of the Cayman Islands. I'm inviting you to come out to the March for Jesus, Saturday, 18th of May, 2024. Thank you very much.
Join us for the March for Jesus on the 18th of May 2024, starting at the 7 Mile Public Beach at 3 p.m. Then for our Thank You Jesus Praise and Worship concert starting at 6:30 p.m. on Albert Panton Street. For more information, visit our website at www.christian.ky and then click on the March for Jesus 2024 tab. See you at the March for Jesus.
So much happening, so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my healthcare instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
This Mother's Day, Digicel wants to take you to brunch. We're giving away brunch vouchers for you and Mom to enjoy a delightful feast together. Winning is easy. Simply activate the postpaid Supreme plan or the 30-day Prime Max plan, and you could be our lucky winner. Don't let the chance to treat Mom to a special day out slip away. Visit your nearest Digicel store today or hop onto the My Digicel app for your shot at winning. Make this Mother's Day a memorable one with Digicel.
At Kirk Market, it's so easy to eat well and find healthy options. With their fresh veggies from local farmers, hormone-free chicken, local seafood, and grass-fed meats, Kirk Market has delicious, quality food at the best prices. And you must check out their fresh salad bar, hot bar, and med bar for daily healthy options on the go. Their delicious dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients such as prime meats and organic veggies. Eating great is important to me. That's why Kirk Market is my store. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and shop happy.
Shop at Funky Tangs, the home of electronics and more. Check out Funky Tangs' 2 locations, Shannon Road and Countryside Savannah, for loads of savings. In stock at Funky Tangs, both locations: stoves, fridges, and small appliances, mini split air conditioning units, sheets and comforters, all sizes, window curtains, cell phones and telephone accessories, musical instruments, karaoke and Bluetooth speakers. New service now available at Funky Tangs, computer and cell phone repairs. Funky Tangs. For more information, call 949-0998. Now available at Funky Tangs. LG mini split inverter air conditioners, indoor and outdoor 19-SEER units. Regular price 598.95 CI. Now reduced to 549 CI.
This is For the Record.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField and Miss Theresa Pitcairn. Do we have any callers on this issue? None. So for those who are interested, Miss T, there's and you mentioned this earlier, the Cayman Islands Independent Monitoring Board for prisons and places of detention. And I see a quote here: the eyes and ears of our community behind the closed doors of our prisons and places of detention. Well, we would hope and we trust that the eyes and the ears, that the eyes aren't covered and that the ears aren't covered as well, that they're detecting, some of the things. And I would imagine in your particular case, when your group was there talking, you had the ability to speak with them freely. There was no guards around monitoring while you were talking to them.
So that was crazy. We did ask the question because I didn't know whether or not the cameras were working. Mm-hmm. And the thing was, they said, we don't care.
Okay.
And there were persons that were outside, and they gave us the privacy to have the conversation with the ladies and stuff like that. But it's the arbitrary nature, as we raised in the break, of the way in which people are chosen. One lady said that one morning one of the persons that were had responsibility for them, because she was in a bad mood, she said she was going to kick her a couple of times. I mean, I said, who says that? And, they and I'm being very careful because, like I said, I don't want to disclose anything that's going to fall on them. But I do believe that, and the other thing, people will not, because I've raised it now, the tendency is for people to take this personal. persons who have responsibility for the prison. I'm hoping that they won't. And I'm hoping that they will just see this as a responsible member of the community, highlighting a concern that should be addressed responsibly by the minister or the persons concerned, or even by the board, the particular board, and not take it personal the way we tend to do and become just reactive and doing, take the time to go and have a proper look and have an independent assessment. The whole issue with mold, for example, that's not something that's going to take a long time to, determine whether or not it exists. And we were told that people know that it exists. And what we were told is that they give them medication for allergy. And I'm saying, come on, for real? And they said, this is what folks do. But like I said, this is really only to bring about public awareness of concern. And I did promise those ladies that when I had 2 minutes, I would try to raise this once I made the submissions to the ombudsman.
Okay, I'm going to share this publicly with the listening and viewing audience. So the Cayman Islands Independent Monitoring Board, known by the acronyms CIIMB, was operational in February of 2019. Its members are appointed by the governor. The Office of the Deputy Governor provides secretarial support and services to the board. Its role is to monitor the conditions and treatment of those imprisoned, incarcerated, or otherwise detained in custody in the Cayman Islands. As part of their monitoring visits, board members also handle applications from prisoners and detainees. Additionally, the board members make themselves available to listen to issues, make further inquiries, and provide responses. Prisoners or detainees are able to submit confidential applications to the board, or they can speak to members when they are visiting. The board monitoring and reporting are organized around the World Health Organization's 4 key tests of a healthy custodial environment. Those 4 key tests are safety. Prisoners, even the most vulnerable, are held safely. Respect. Prisoners are treated with respect for their human dignity. Purposeful activity. Prisoners are able and expected to engage in activity that is likely to benefit them. Rehabilitation and release planning. Prisoners are prepared for release into the community and helped to reduce the likelihood of reoffending. And then as far as the membership of the board goes, the members of the Cayman Islands Independent Monitoring Board are members of the public drawn from the local community. The board consists of a maximum of 12 members, including a chair and a deputy chair. Their responsibilities include directly observing, monitoring, and reporting on conditions and treatment of prisoners and detainees, receiving and dealing with detainees' applications. Well, that's really regurgitating what was said before. Now,
so OC, I'll just give you a quote in terms of the response to the question that when I asked him.
Mm-hmm.
He says, anytime they raise the complaint, it falls on deaf ears. No one listens. The custodial staff and managers cover for each other. They circle them, and it's poisoned, and they drink from the same poison soup.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they describe it.
Okay. Yeah. Doc, I noticed that this talk mentions persons incarcerated and detainees as well. For the benefit of our listening, and both of you are attorneys, so either one of you can chime in, but for the benefit of our listening and our viewing audience, can you share with us the distinction between a person who's incarcerated as opposed to a person who is being detained?
Well, a person who's incarcerated has been obviously convicted of some offense and is serving some sort of sentence, whether it's a light sentence or a long-term sentence, or it's a sentence for whether it's for lack of paying a fine, or whether it's a sentence of but for some other reasons, a person detained is a person who's been arrested and probably is not held without bail for some reasons, and the detention is only on a temporary basis. He hopes to be released on some occasion in the future, in the near future, and so his outlook of being inside of a jail or inside a prison is different from the person who's been incarcerated. The person who's been incarcerated is being held by the state on after a conviction, and the person who's been detained is being held on some alleged complaint. Could be a minor complaint or a serious complaint, and so that's the difference between being detained and being incarcerated.
Okay, that's extremely helpful, Ms. P.
No, just like I said, I just wanted to bring public awareness to that, and the hope is that we'll follow up. I certainly intend, and I have followed up with the folks at UCCI to see if something can be developed, but it will take some time to try and get something properly organized and beneficial to the women. And the thing is, this may well be something that could be extended to the prison at Northwood. I don't know. I didn't go. I didn't visit. But one gets the impression that from one of the lawyers that I've since spoken to, that it's, if I can imagine it, that it's 10 times worse there. And what is going on with the mental facility, Poinciana, in East End? Do we know?
Your guess is just as good as mine. I think there was some. The last time that the minister was on my show, she acknowledged the delays and everything, but they were working. There were some things that were beyond their control in terms of the handover and everything, and they were still waiting for that. I would imagine that the issues of staffing and stuff like that they should be well on their way. Okay. One of our listeners did write and say here, in former times, some of these prison issues became a natural part of a chaplain's responsibility. I am not certain if there is an active prison chaplaincy at present. I believe there is. Is Ms. Gomez still the prison chaplain?
No, there was a gentleman that was there was there, and that's
But I want to thank that person for sharing that with us as well. We're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Hi, this is Juliana O'Connor Conley, the Honorable Premier of the Cayman Islands. I'm inviting you to come out to the March for Jesus, Saturday, 18th of May, 2024. Thank you very much.
Join us for the March for Jesus on the 18th of May 2024, starting at the 7 Mile Public Beach at 3 p.m. Then for our Thank You Jesus Praise and Worship concert starting at 6:30 p.m. on Albert Panton Street. For more information, visit our website at www.christian.ky and then click on the March for Jesus 2024 tab. See you at the March for Jesus.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what, though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Teens and young people living in Cayman, it's time to use our voices. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is putting together a 10-year national health strategy, and we need to be a part of it. Do you feel heard by your doctor or healthcare provider? Are you included in making decisions about your health? Can you access the services you need easily? Tell us what you think. Email mohfeedback@gov.ky or log on to gov.ky/health-wellness and participate today.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
At Kirk Market, it's so easy to eat well and find healthy options. With their fresh veggies from local farmers, hormone-free chicken, local seafood, and grass-fed meats, Kirk Market has delicious, quality food at the best prices. And you must check out their fresh salad bar, hot bar, and med bar for daily healthy options on the go. Their delicious dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients such as prime meats and organic veggies. Eating great is important to me. That's why Kirk Market is my store. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and shop happy.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, we have Dr. Steve McField and Miss Theresa Pitcairn. One of our listeners was inquiring whether or not we're taking calls during the panel sitting. And for now, we're taking calls in relation to incarceration at H.M.P. In particular, Fairbanks and the Women's Prison, because Miss Theresa has related to us and to you her experience, on a visit there and the concerns that she have been that she witnessed there, and the fact that she has been in contact with the Office of the Ombudsman as well. So for the caller, you can try our numbers. The WhatsApp number is 925-3261. Try that. 949-8037-949-6990. I believe we're getting a call coming through now. Miss Susan, we do have nothing? Yeah, the caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning, caller. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes. Good morning, Mr. Connor, Dr. McField, and Miss Pitcairn.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning. Very interesting topic. I'm glad that you guys came on and brought this up this morning. I've had a few people reach out to me about these concerns, and as someone who has studied human rights and of course extensively our Bill of Rights here in Cayman and our Constitution, I am so glad to hear that you brought this up and the strides that you would like to see made. One thing I wanted to touch on quickly, which falls under this also, is the situation with the Cuban migrants. I applaud the government for what they're trying to do in terms of dealing with the Cuban migrants. I just have one concern, and that is the size of our community in terms of, I heard you talking about integrating, into our society and so forth, and thinking about America and the size of America and the parts that I caught in the conversation. So as long as we're taking that into consideration, I am so, the size of our community, the resources that we have to offer when we're trying to assist other people. And as you rightly said, it is a human rights issue, international standards that we have to obligate ourselves to and so forth. But so glad that you guys, and I just wanted to applaud you for that and tell you thank you, because everyone deserves to, even in prison. I was like I said, people have reached out to me about concerns about these things, and I have tried to figure out how best I can offer any support by reaching out to certain persons, and I wasn't aware that yourself and Mr. McField was doing anything but keep up the good work, and I hope that we can make some strides on this, and it will not, exhaust too much of what we have here in Cayman, because we still nevertheless need to think about, our own people. But definitely prison reform also needs to come out. So I hope the government will consider that also and try to make some positive changes. But thank you all again for the work that you're doing.
Well, ma'am, before you go, what I find in our country is that we sort of don't have much respect for law, constitution, anything. An example, we have been speaking on this radio for, I can't remember how many times we come on here, and we have been, OC and I, especially when Ms. Theresa's not here, we're talking about the lawlessness on the roads, the highways, the lawlessness on the roads in the morning and stuff, and the need for some control of the system of transportation. And we have been saying that this cannot go on like this. And then just last week, was it last week? We had 3 deaths on the road at one time, 3 people. And that is because we do not enforce the law. We do not have any preventative legislation or any preventative enforcement or any enforcement whatsoever. We have been speaking about that. What we need is mechanism to prevent those things from happening, but we don't care about those things. We only react after they happen. And one of the things that really bites me is the fact that I think the guy must be a chief officer or something, he's in charge of the road system, say, well, the answer to that is that we should put more signs on the roads advising them of the speed limits. Everybody who come from east to west in the morning or going north to south or whatever know the speed limits on all the roads in Cayman. It's not that. It's the fact that we have no highway patrol. We have no one to keep control to prevent people from that, and we have no enforcement. People should not be speeding and killing each other, and when they do that, they should be taken off the roads. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with the Cuban stuff. We do not understand international law, the law that governs the migration of people from one place to the other. And one of the significant things about the international law on migration is that people are entitled to seek asylum, as they say, in the first place that they reach after they have left their country that they're complaining about. And the first place from they leave their country is Cayman, Cuba. If we do not obey the law of migration and just let people go where they are supposed to be going on and so forth, and then because what will happen to us if Cuba gets any worse than it is right now and it's really bad, we'll have a lot of people come in here just like how they're going into Mexico trying to get into America. They'll come into Cayman and we'll have hundreds of them flooded here with our resources that we need for our own people. We have something like 5% or plus unemployment, where people can't pay their light bill, can't pay their mortgage, can't pay their car loans, so forth. We need to have a look at who we are and where we're going. That's the problem that we have. And then we need to be more assertive with the Cuban government. We need to say we cannot keep people here ad infinitum and spend money on them. We need to repatriate them back to their country as soon as possible. We should be right after their application for asylum has been heard and had been refused, and then we need to get them out here because we cannot afford to keep them. We are just a small country that does not have any resources that we make money from, and we only depend on people coming here and spending money with us and so forth. And so, but we ignore all of these signs, we ignore everything, and then we get into trouble, and then we said, it's not our fault, it's somebody else's fault. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Caller, we have about 2 minutes before we go to our headline news. Ms. T?
No, I was just going to clarify what I said when I made the reference to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I was saying that if I were incarcerated in the United States, and if I didn't have rights, if I didn't have access to lawyers and so on. So it was not really comparing the United States to Cayman, but just being incarcerated in a different country.
Yes.
That's that. But I was also going to, when you made the mention of the CIIMB, they were established in 2019, but in 2020, I don't know if you remembered when we had that earthquake. I understood from those ladies, because they made a point of raising this, and they said that there were no protocols in place to deal with the situation, and each one of the officers that were there, they looked after themselves, and they were just running scared to secure their own personal safety, leaving the inmates in their dorms. Wow. And I mean, the dorms, are really only there to hold maybe 2, and then you saw as many as 6 people being held there, and that's just unconscionable and downright negligent. So when you hear these stories, and the thing is, OC, you hear these stories of negligence, inefficiency, of people who just don't get it right or understand. You hear that littered right throughout this community. I mean, I was just listening to Steve when he was speaking of the speed limit and so on. Everywhere you turn around, you get this ineptitude that just pervades this community. And, my saying this now, people will get a little upset with me, because I was at the CUC invited me to a conference last Friday. And I said to some of the organizers, I says, is this something that I'm going to have to just speak about to make people feel nice and warm and cuddly inside, or can I be myself and call it as I see it? Mm-hmm. And the person said, T, we're inviting you because you do call it as you see it. So, and that's what I'm doing this morning. This is not to point fingers at anyone. It's just to engage us in dialogue and an opportunity to do what is right.
And we have to talk about the uncomfortable things
exactly.
as well.
But that's it.
Top of the hour, folks. Headline news. When we return, the conversation with Ms. Theresa Pitcairn and Dr. Steve McField will continue, so don't change that dial. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
A cyclist is targeted in an overnight attack. At around 12:30 a.m., police were sent to a robbery on South Church Street near Thompson Drive, where a man had been riding on his bicycle when he was slammed into by another cyclist, caused him to fall, resulting in non-life-threatening injuries. Israel has accused South Africa of distorting reality in its attempt to get the UN's top court to force it to stop its military campaign in the town of Rafah in southern Gaza. The International Court of Justice began 2 days of hearings on Thursday when South Africa told the court that Israel intended to, quote, wipe Palestinians off the face of the earth. Lawyers for Israel are presenting their response to the court today. The court is also considering a case brought by South Africa in January accusing Israel of committing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. French police have killed a man after a synagogue was set on fire in the northwestern city of Rouen. The man was armed with a knife and a metallic tool and was shot after he threatened officers. The mayor said the attack on the synagogue did not just affect the Jewish community, but the entire city was, quote, battered and in shock. Those are your headlines. I'm Karsley Fuller.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
HSA's Urgent Care Clinic is now open 7 days per week to serve you better. Visit our dedicated team at Urgent Care Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and weekends and public holidays, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. No appointment necessary. If you are experiencing non-life-threatening symptoms and conditions such as the cold and flu, sprains and cuts, earaches, nausea and vomiting, visit Urgent Care's walk-in clinic at the main entrance of the Georgetown Hospital, now open every day. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
At Kirk Market, it's so easy to eat well and find healthy options. With their fresh veggies from local farmers, hormone-free chicken, local seafood, and grass-fed meats, Kirk Market has delicious, quality food at the best prices. And you must check out their fresh salad bar, hot bar, and med bar for daily healthy options on the go. Their delicious dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients such as prime meats and organic veggies. Eating great is important to me. That's why Kirk Market is my store. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and shop happy.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField and Miss Theresa Pitcairn. 2 birthday shout-outs before we move on. Happy birthday to Miss Jessica Ebanks, who is the daughter of Mr. Tommy Ebanks. He's wishing you happy birthday and pointed out that his world is a better place because of his daughter, Jessica. Love you always and forever. And we also have another one here. Happy birthday going out to Miss Elbia Reyes in Orlando, Florida. Today is her birthday. Birthday greetings are coming from your son-in-law, Dwight James, and family. Also, Miss Ruth James and family, wishing you a happy birthday. May God bless you always. So 2 more birthday shout-outs there. Folks, I'm going to pass the mic over to both of you. Miss T, Dr. McField, who wants to take over first?
Steve, you want it? I've taken up enough oxygen.
Well, I would like to speak about the electoral boundary report.
Oh, yes.
That the commissioners made last year, and I would like to share with your audience what the Constitution says about it, because there was an article someplace, sometimes in the media, in the local media, and some of the contents of the article was that I was angry about the not putting the report forward before the Parliament, like the Constitution said has to be done. And then there were some comments about it, and some people were saying, "Well, I don't understand why Steve is so upset about that, because he was one of the people who put in the single member constitution, 1 man, 1 vote." But I just like to remind people, I like to remind people, well, they had a referendum on it, and the Caymanian people adopted 1 man, 1 vote and single member constitution. Not me, I didn't do that. I exercised my democratic right to say whether I was for or against it, but I didn't put it in. It was the Caymanian people who adopted that. But just let me share with your audience what the Constitution says about the Boundary Commission and the Boundary Commission report. And that's found in Section 8 and 9 of our Constitution, Order 2009. It says, an electoral boundary commission shall, as soon as practical after its appointment, review the boundaries of the electoral districts into which the Cayman Islands are divided, and taking into account the changes or proposed changes, if any, in the number of electoral districts or of elected members of the Legislative Assembly, shall submit a report to the Governor and the Parliament containing its recommendations for any change in the number and boundaries of the electoral districts. And 2, in preparing its report under the section of the Commission shall take no account of the racial distribution of election within of electors within the Cayman Islands, take into account the natural boundaries within the Cayman Islands, have regard to existing electoral districts, and D, subject to the foregoing provisions of this subsection, ensure that far as reasonable practical across all electoral districts, there will be an equal ratio between the numbers of elected members of the Legislative Assembly representing each electoral district and the number of persons qualified to be registered as electors under Section 90 in that district. But Cayman Brac and Little Cayman shall be between these two islands at all times return at least 2 members of the Legislative Assembly. And then it goes on to say, as soon as may be after the Commission has submitted a report under subsection 1, the Premier shall lay before the Parliament for his approval the draft of any order by the Governor for giving effect, whether with or without modifications to the recommendations contained in the report, and that draft may make provisions for any matters which appears to the Premier to be incidental to or consequential upon the other provisions of the draft. And then it goes on to say, where any draft order laid under the section would give effect to any such recommendations with modifications, the Premier shall lay before the Legislative Assembly, together with the draft, a statement of the reasons for the modifications. And if the motion for the approval of any draft order laid upon this section is rejected by the Parliament, or is withdrawn by leave of the Parliament, an amendment draft shall be laid without undue delay by the Premier before the Parliament. If any draft order laid under this section is approved by resolution of the Parliament, the Premier shall submit it to the Governor, who shall make an order which shall be published in a government notice in terms of the draft, and that order shall come into force for the determination of the boundaries of the electoral districts to which it relates upon the next dissolution of the Assembly after it is made. The question of the validity of any order by the Governor purporting to be made under this section and reciting that a draft of the order has been approved by the Parliament shall not be inquired into in a court. So what that actually says, every 7 8 but before the 8th year after the last boundary commission, there has to be a report again. That has to go. The report has to be submitted to the Governor, and a copy has to be submitted to the Legislative Assembly or to the Parliament, and then the Premier then has the duty to bring that to Parliament to see whether the Parliament actually accepts the report or rejects the report. And if they rejects the report, then an order has to be made to that effect, or if they accept it, an order has to be made to that effect. But they just cannot sit there and not do nothing about it because it's a constitutional requirement. And the report is well known. We have made recommendations. The commissioners have made recommendations, and it says those recommendations have to be, if they're accepted, has to be operating upon the next dissolution of the Assembly after it is made. So it means that if Bordentown is going to get another electoral district, another seat, then that has to be put into place at the next election. And so the election office would have to be geared up now to do that, so that they can be in time to do that. And so what I was saying, that we gave this report way back in June or July last year, and it's been sitting there. This is a constitutional requirement. That is how can a government, how can ministers, how can a government refuse to obey the Constitution? That doesn't bodes well in a democracy. That's not democratic. Is it because they don't know, or because they don't care, or because they just don't care about people? And I just like to say, frankly this morning, people who do not care about to obey the law, people who do not care about implementing the constitutions, do not actually care about civil rights of people. And that is something that we have to be vigilant about in this country, because these are constitutional constructs that have to be put in place. And I hope that they don't just walk away, because I can tell you one thing, if I see that it's not going to be done in an orderly manner, I am going to take my placards and I am going to go up to England, to the Foreign Commonwealth Office, and I'm going to picket it. I'm going to pick it down the street and say, you are the administering country to the Cayman Islands. You should make sure that the people that swear under the Constitution to abide by your law, abide by the law. And I'm going to do the same thing I did when I was a student at UBC, at the University of British Columbia, when I was the only black person in the law school, and I picketed the graduation to get people, First Nation people, in there, and that is how they got the law school open up to admit other ethnic group people. I am prepared to do that.
And you've told me that on more than one occasion that you're going to do it. Yeah.
Okay. Ms. Susan, we're going to take a commercial break now, folks. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
She hear clunk and our car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Shop at Funky Tangs, the home of electronics and more. Check out Funky Tangs' 2 locations, Shannon Road and Countryside Savannah, for loads of savings. In stock at Funky Tangs, both locations: stoves, fridges and small appliances, mini split air conditioning units, sheets and comforters, all sizes, window curtains, cell phones and telephone accessories, musical instruments, karaoke and Bluetooth speakers. New service now available at Funky Tangs, computer and cell phone repairs. Funky Tangs. For more information, call 949-0998. Now available at Funky Tangs. LG Mini Split Inverter Air Conditioners, indoor and outdoor 19-SEER units. Regular price, 598.95 CI. Now reduced to 549 CI.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget, our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what though, this old girl's feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Did you know that there are over 300 public rights-of-ways to the shoreline across the 3 Cayman Islands? Now you can find them easily with the new Shoreline iMap at gov.ky/shoreline.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. Miss Theresa stepped out for a moment. She will be back in the studio in a few minutes. It looks like Mr. Walling Whitaker may be celebrating a birthday today as well. So if it is, we want to wish him a happy birthday also. So, Doc, it seems as if the Parliament will sit for the fourth meeting. This was a release last week, Friday, press release issued. And it says here, the Speaker of Parliament, Honourable Sir Alden McLaughlin, has notified members of Parliament that the fourth meeting of the 2023-2024 session will commence on Monday, the 24th of June, 2024 at 10 a.m. The Business Committee will meet on Wednesday, the 19th of June, in order to confirm the order of business for the meeting. As of the 9th of May, 2 business papers have been sent to the members since the previous meeting in February for business to be dealt with in the forthcoming meeting. And the 2 business papers circulated to members so far included the 2023 Supplementary Plan and Estimates for the financial year ending the 31st of December 2023, 2 reports from the Office of the Auditor General, an own initiation report from the Office of the Ombudsman, 2 reports from the Commission for Standards in Public Life, and a report from the Human Rights Commission. Members have until 5 p.m. on the 13th of June to submit parliamentary questions for the Ministers, Attorney General, and Deputy Governor, and until 5 p.m. on the 14th of June for any government or private member's motion to be filed in the clerk's office. Any new bills or proposed legislative amendments must be published in the Gazette by 5 p.m. on Friday, the 24th of May, in order to be eligible for consideration on the fourth meeting. In accordance with Section 77, subsection 2 of the Cayman Islands Constitution Order as amended, blah, blah, blah. The proceedings can be accessed, telling you how it can be accessed and everything. So we know so far that there are certain reports, certain things that are on the business paper, include the 2023 Supplementary Plan, the Auditor General Plan and Estimates for the financial year ending the 31st of December 2023, 2 reports from the Office of the Auditor General, and an own initiation report from the Office of the Ombudsman, and then 2 reports from the Commission for Standards in Public Life, and a report from the Human Rights Commission. That's what the ones that I've mentioned so far. Nothing.
So you don't say anything about the electoral boundary report?
Nothing about the electoral boundaries report, but that can still, I would imagine, could still come in at some point. We do have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Elsie. Good morning, Dr. Steve.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? Hope you had a good birthday as well, huh? Think we didn't know about that?
I tried to keep quiet about it, but I know you noticed. Yes, my birthday was on the 13th of May. I was 6'9" on the day. So,
yes.
I would have loved Mrs. Pitcairn also to be there, but I'm quite sure she's listening as she's driving off.
No, she's still in the building, but she'll be coming back into the studio in a few minutes.
Oh, I see. Okay, very well. You see, first of all, it's very touching in a very negative way what she found, going to prison there and so forth. And I'm always a person who has a soft spot for ladies. I also have, I have this idea as well that really, although prisons are necessary, they are overused. There are a lot of people who go to prison who shouldn't go to prison, like those who really have good personal problems like bipolar and those kinds of things. I think that the properly conceived, the idea of prison is for those people who really need to be kept away from society, maybe serial rapists or those kinds of extreme cases. And
those who pose a danger. Those who pose a danger.
Yes, those who pose a danger to society. So that was quite touching. Now, the next thing is really about what Dr. Steve spoke about failure to observe the Constitution. I think that Cayman has to watch this very carefully. How even higher bodies are failing sometimes to observe some basic issues of the Constitution. I mean, without dwelling on it, you know that a few months ago, our good Judicial and Legal Service Commission were found to be in violation of the Constitution by failing to draw rules for 7 years, you can imagine, to allow people to complain. And I can tell you even right now, I have a judicial review which arose out of that finding, which is before the Chief Justice. And this judicial review, the application was made in February. To this day, I have not gotten a date of hearing. I have been forced to complain to the governor to say, under Section 31, you are responsible for good governance. And it is said that if you have a problem with the Chief Justice, who is the one who allocates these matters, you should complain to the governor. I've complained to the governor formally in writing. To this day, I have not received a response. So if the person who is supposed to be responsible on the part of the British government for good governance herself is not able to crack the whip to say, hey, look, you people need to observe the Constitution, I think there's a problem there. If you've got time, I want to touch a little bit on the...
Go right ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. Last week, you spoke a little bit about this issue of PR fees, which are owing, and how some people were under the danger that their PR might be revoked. I think that requires a lot of attention. You see, you do recall that way back, this is an issue we have discussed before. There was an opinion given some time back to say, you see, people shouldn't reach 10 years without having permanence, and therefore rollover was introduced at 8, so that if you don't qualify, you can leave at 9, so that you don't reach 10 years, because this so-called EU directive, which requires you to have permanence at 10, doesn't kick in. Now we are told that actually the opinion was not from the government, that it was actually from the Attorney General, that the opinion was actually from a private lawyer. So, but that aside, I think that there are issues regarding the possible legality of withdrawing somebody's PR on the basis that they haven't paid. I think that there's a possible illegality of the very legal provision which makes that possible. Now, how does that work? Now, both of you understand this better than I do. A lot of people, once they get PR, they find out what the Caymanians complain about. They find that it's harder to get a job, you don't have money, and yet the law says that whether or not you have a job, you have to pay. So
can I interrupt you there, though, Billy? I'm going to interrupt you for a second just to get something factual. Normally, when you acquire permanent residence, if you're not at the point where you can retire as financially independent, then you have the ability to continue to work. Mm-hmm. You also have the ability to continue to work with the same employer that you have worked for before. Mm-hmm. So you're basically paying the fee. If you were, say, a carpenter, then you pay the carpenter fee every year. Mm-hmm. I don't think it is the PR holders that are encountering the difficulties that Caymanians are encountering. You may hear status holders say that once they have acquired Caymanian status and they're out there on their own. So I think the comparison is more with the status holders and the Caymanians as opposed to the PR. I think they're in a separate group altogether where they have the right to continue to work with the employer. Whether or not the employer chooses to pay that annual fee for them or they choose to pay it themselves, it is required to be paid.
Okay, well, thanks for that clarification, because I think it refines, the understanding that people have about that.
Mm-hmm.
But coming back to the issue about the PR, in my opinion, and this is my opinion, I think that if it were to be challenged, this provision which says that people, even after they get PR, that they should pay fees, and that therefore they can lose their PR if they don't pay fees. I doubt whether that would survive a human rights challenge, and I'll tell you why. And there are two levels at which it might not succeed. One I agree, the other one I disagree.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the Court of Appeal has already said that, well, you see, even if you are a criminal, you can't be deported if you've got a right to family life. Now, I happen to disagree with that, but I have no doubt that if somebody went to the same court and said, well, look, why are they revoking my PR under this law? This law is contrary to human rights. I feel that on the same basis of rights to family life, they may say, well, if you send this person away, there will be a deprivation of right to family life. Now,
Mr. Billy, I disagree with you. If you read Section 16 of the Constitution, Section 16(4)(b), it says that subsection, it says that the discrimination section in that section shall not apply to any law so far as that law makes provisions for, with respect to the entry into or exclusion from, or the employment, engagement in any business or profession, movement, or residence within the Cayman Islands of persons who are not Caymanians.
Yes. And
the law that the Constitution is, that the Bill of Rights is envisioned in there, is the immigration law, and the immigration law says that in respect to residence, we will grant you residence, but there's a fee that you have to pay every year for that. And I'm saying that if you don't pay for that, then you should not be living here. We have the right to sell you to go, because that would be contrary to the law. That would be like well, I just got it, but I'm not just going to obey the law and pay. I mean, how would that work?
Okay,
it doesn't work it's not working in England, I can tell you that. And if you look at their immigration laws that they're bringing in now, they're going to be very, very harsh and hard.
I agree with that, and I agree, Dr. Steve, I agree with that. Like, for example, if you were to say you want to discriminate between status holders and Caymanians and other people, I understand that will cover you. But if the matter were to be taken to the European Court of Human Rights and judged against the European standards, which they say that at the end of 10 years you must have permanence, I think there may be a problem about the validity of that provision as it applies to those particular categories of PR. It will be valid in other areas, but I think there will be an issue as to not complying with this EU directive, because that EU directive has got actually more force even than the Constitution of the Cayman Islands.
We're not bound by those, Mr. Billy. We're not bound to follow them.
No, but we are, to the extent that up to now, somebody can challenge that kind of thing all the way to the European Court of Human Rights, and the European Court of Human Rights is going to apply European standards. And if they find that the Constitution of the Cayman Islands is unfair and does not comply with European standards, they will declare even the Constitution of the Cayman Islands to be invalid in relation to that particular matter.
Well, I wish that somebody would try to do that, because we need settlement,
clarity,
we need clarification, and we need we need clarity, and we need precedent.
Billy, thank you.
I had a little bit. Thanks very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Billy. We have to go to a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay Mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
This Mother's Day, Digicel wants to take you to brunch. We're giving away brunch vouchers for you and mom to enjoy a delightful feast together. Winning is easy. Simply activate the postpaid Supreme plan or the 30-day Prime Max plan, and you could be our lucky winner. Don't let the chance to treat mom to a special day out slip away. Visit your nearest Digicel store today or hop onto the My Digicel app for your shot at winning. Make this Mother's Day a memorable one with Digicel.
Shop at Funky Tangs, the home of electronics and more. Check out Funky Tangs' 2 locations, Shannon Road and Countryside Savannah, for loads of savings. In stock at Funky Tangs, both locations: stoves, fridges, and small appliances, mini split air conditioning units, sheets and comforters, all sizes, window curtains, cell phones and telephone accessories, musical instruments, karaoke and Bluetooth speakers. New service now available at Funky Tangs, computer and cell phone repairs. Funky Tangs. For more information, call 949-0998. Now available at Funky Tangs. LG mini split inverter air conditioners, indoor and outdoor 19-series units. Regular price 598.95 CI. Now reduced to 549 CI.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
The National Council for Persons with Disabilities is proud to invite members of the public to visit their new website. With this modern, user-friendly design, the site offers accessibility features as well as information and resources for everyone, including persons with disabilities, caregivers, and those with long-term health conditions. The National Council for Persons with Disabilities has been striving to bring accessibility and inclusivity to all residents of the Cayman Islands since 2017. Find out more. Visit www.disabilitycouncil.gov.ky.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Any calls on hold, Miss Susan? No callers. So, Doc, on the, let me find the date here, the 15th of May.
Yes.
2 days ago, the Cayman Compass had an article in there in relation to the electoral boundaries, and it says electoral boundary changes in limbo ahead of the 2025 election. And they had various headings, under there talking about the response and the comments by the progressives, the opposition. And there's a section on the government position being unclear. And it says, despite repeated attempts by the Compass to confirm the status of the report, it remains unclear whether Cabinet has accepted the recommended changes. That's number one. McTaggart said the government will need to explain the reasons for the holdup. Election Supervisor Mr. Wesley Howell, responding to the Compass's query, said the timing of the presentation of the boundary report to Parliament is determined by the Premier and other elected officials. And then he's quoted as saying, regarding the proposed changes by the Boundaries Commission, the Elections Office team are prepared to undertake the necessary measures to inform registered voters of the proposed changes to their electoral districts per the 2023 Electoral Boundaries Commission recommendations. The article then says also that in McTaggart's view, however, the delay appears to be more than just a dragging of the feet. He's quoted as saying, I suspect they cannot reach an agreement in their caucus on it. Even if they can, it will still need to come to Parliament for debate and consideration. How long it may take to get to Parliament is a good question. Either way, Howell said that the senior team at the Elections Office has already begun preparing for the 2025 general elections. He's quoted as saying, we are already working to ensure that all logistical and administrative frameworks are in place to facilitate a smooth and fair election process. And I'm going to stop there because it depends. Oh, there's another part on here. It says what the report says. So has this been leaked out or what? It says the report, which was completed after public consultation last year, offered one set of proposed adjustments to constituency boundaries in West Bay, Georgetown, Northside, East End, and the sister islands. It also offered two sets of adjustments to Bordentown, one map with 4 constituencies and a second map with 5 constituencies. Specification for the boundary lines were also proposed.
That's right.
With the changes, the Commission also recommended constituency names be switched to numerical designations to more accurately reflect the communities where the new lines will fall, such as Georgetown 1 and Georgetown 2 as well. So that was from the Compass.
But with all due respect to Mr. McTaggart, the leader of the opposition, it has nothing mostly to do with cabinet.
Okay.
Let me just read the section again.
On the Constitution, from the Constitution.
Constitution.
Yes.
This is section 89, subsection 3 says, as soon as may be after the Commission has submitted a report under subsection 1, the Premier shall lay before the Parliament for its approval the draft of an order by the Governor for giving effect, whether with or without modifications, to the recommendations contained in the report, and that draft may make provisions for any matters which appears to the Premier to be incidental to or inconsequential upon the other provisions of the draft.
So there's no mention of cabinet.
So there's no mention of cabinet. It doesn't. It's this affects the whole country, and that is the reason why it takes the whole legislature to agree, not just cabinet agree, and then you go and bring a bill. And it says, as soon as may be after the Commission. 1 year is soon as may be after the Commission. 9 months. It doesn't seem to me that that's right. It seems to me that they're ignoring the report and does not want to put in, does not want to abide by the report, does not want to recommend or not recommend the report. And as the Constitution is laid out here, they can't just walk away and leave it.
But again, and we talk about this, what the previous caller and yourselves discussed as well. How can we allow these actions to go unchallenged from a legal standpoint? How can we allow it to go unchallenged? Are there the necessary structures in place to challenge on constitutional grounds the inaction?
No, it's because we have no constitutional ombudsman to do that, like in other countries. We have political ombudsman. We have ombudsman, but they're not dealing with things like this.
But the Grand Court would normally be the court to deal with constitutional issues.
Yes, the Grand Court
interpreting the Constitution.
That's right. That's right. So, how do you get the government to obey the Constitution?
Yes, that's the question.
That's the question. Usually, it's not done in other countries. The government automatically obeys the Constitution because that's what the government is swear to do. Because it means then everything that the government do would be unconstitutional, ultra virus.
Let's look at some of the terminology that they use there. It talks about once the governor has received it, she. Can you read that part again?
It says, as soon as may be after the commission has submitted a report under subsection 1, the Premier shall lay before the Legislative Assembly for its approval the draft of an order by the Governor for giving effect, whether with or without modifications, to the recommendations contained in the report, and that draft may make provisions for any matters which appear to the Premier to be incidental to or consequential upon the other provisions of the draft.
So the governor, when it speaks to the governor, it seems as if it's speaking to the governor in person, not the governor in cabinet.
No, the governor in person.
And when it speaks to the Premier, it doesn't speak to the fact that the Premier, with the approval of her cabinet.
That's right.
Now, she may decide, well, I don't want to move with this unless I receive the approval of my cabinet, but it doesn't appear as if there's any obligation there unless there is something somewhere else that restricts her from acting, on her own initiative.
And then this is what goes on to say, where in the draft order laid under this section would give effect to any such recommendations with modifications. That's when they modify our report. The Premier shall lay before the Legislative Assembly, together with the draft, a statement of the reasons for the modifications.
And those are modifications made by whom?
By the Premier or anyone, or anybody. You see? And then it says, if the motion for the approval of any draft order laid under this section is rejected by the Legislative Assembly or is withdrawn by leave of the Parliament, an amended draft shall be laid without undue delay by the Premier before the Assembly. So they just can't leave it. If they reject it, then they have to have another draft laid, amended draft laid.
Yes.
And it says, if any draft order laid under this section is approved by the resolution of the Legislative Assembly, the Premier shall submit it to the Governor, who shall make an order which shall be published in a government notice at the Government Gazette in terms of the draft, and that order shall come into force for the determination of the boundaries of the electoral districts to which it relates upon the next dissolution of the Assembly after it is made.
Okay. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, I'm still a little bit fuzzy about any amendments that are made, because I am sort of like getting the feeling that there's still a process in this for cabinet. After the Premier has received it from the Governor, that there's still something for cabinet to do. We may want to do a little bit more research on that to see what we can determine with that. Folks, don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
You know who this is? That same old girl that went to Hollywood and Panama? Well, guess what? The fun ain't done yet, because this year, I'm going to country concerts in Denver. I got kick up my heels in Times Square. I got keep living the dream with Cayman Airways. We so blessed to have them. I tell you what, though, this old girl feeling younger than ever.
Make your travel dreams come true with Cayman Airways, offering international non-stop flights from Cayman to New York, Miami, Tampa, Denver, Los Angeles, Panama, Kingston, Mobay, La Ceiba, and Havana. Enjoy free rum punch, free in-flight entertainment, free seat selection, and free meals on select flights. Call 949-2311, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
This Mother's Day, Digicel wants to take you to brunch. We're giving away brunch vouchers for you and mom to enjoy a delightful feast together. Winning is easy. Simply activate the postpaid Supreme plan or the 30-day Prime Max plan, and you could be our lucky winner. Don't let the chance to treat mom to a special day out slip away. Visit your nearest Digicel store today or hop onto the My Digicel app for your shot at winning. Make this Mother's Day a memorable one with Digicel.
Are you ready for Cayman Art Week? From Wednesday 22nd to Sunday, May 26th, you'll find local art on show and for sale at more than 30 venues across all 3 Cayman Islands. Explore galleries and pop-up exhibitions anytime throughout the week or join one of our bus tours running in a different district each day. Admission is free and open to the public. You can check out what's happening and when at CaymanArtWeek.com.
At Kirk Market, it's so easy to eat well and find healthy options. With their fresh veggies from local farmers, hormone-free chicken, local seafood, and grass-fed meats, Kirk Market has delicious, quality food at the best prices. And you must check out their fresh salad bar, hot bar, and med bar for daily healthy options on the go. Their delicious dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients such as prime meats and organic veggies. Eating great is important to me. That's why Kirk Market is my store. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and shop happy.
If you're a parent, you know that providing your child with a quality early childhood education can be expensive. However, the Ministry of Education offers financial assistance through its Early Childhood Assistance Program to help qualifying Caymanian families cover the costs at registered early childhood settings. Visit our online application portal at moeapplications.gov.ky to learn more and get started. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Education.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show, about 10 minutes left. Doc, I'm going to leave the mic with you.
Yes.
In relation to this, both you and I were looking at Section 89, subsection 3, and we're wondering whether or not it is coming under different interpretations, and it'll be interesting to see if it isn't brought to Parliament, even though I am almost 100% certain that the Premier has indicated that the report will be going to Parliament.
I hope so.
But if it doesn't go to Parliament, I would suspect that the interpretation of Section 89, subsection 3 may be
it's not ambiguous.
Because
it's not ambiguous.
Because it seems like the leader of the opposition is reading it exactly opposite from the way that you're reading it, because he speaks to cabinet.
It has nothing to do with cabinet.
Yeah, okay.
It says, let's look at it again. Mm-hmm. As soon as may be after the commission has submitted a report. We submitted the report.
Right.
Okay.
Under subsection 1.
The Premier shall lay before the Legislative Assembly, before the Parliament, for its approval, the draft of an order by the Governor for giving effect, that means to give effect to the report, whether with or without modifications.
Okay, let's stop there for a second.
Okay?
Whether with or without modification, by whom?
By the governor.
Okay. Not the premier or
No,
cabinet. The
no,
governor.
by the governor.
Okay, got you. Yeah, that's your position. Yep.
If the governor has no modifications, then it goes through quickly.
But
it says,
Doc, I'm stop you there again. Why would the governor have any modifications to it when this is within the realm of the elected government? Why would the governor have to provide any modifications?
Because the Constitution gives the governor the right to make the order. The order has to come from the governor.
Okay.
The order not our order, the order in Parliament. In other words, the governor says, here's the recommendations. I have made the order for you to either accept it or reject it, and I have made some modifications that you should attend to.
That's the governor?
That's the governor's role.
To say about the modifications?
That's right. That's what it says here.
Yeah, but my question is, why should the governor be able to modify that report?
Well, that's what the Constitution gives the governor that power.
Okay, yeah.
To do
Good
so.
point.
And then it says, and then it goes over to say, where any draft order laid under the section shall give effect to any such recommendations with modifications, the Premier shall lay before the Legislative Assembly, together with the draft, a statement of the reasons for the modifications.
But why would the Premier then give a statement for the reason
because
for the
modification?
modification?
The governor's not in Parliament.
Okay.
The modifications come from the governor.
Okay.
And the Premier would have to tell why the reason the governor has made the modifications.
Okay. You and I are going to do some scholarly research on this because this is one of a contention here. What we can look at is the previous electoral boundaries report and how it was handled. Now, it may have been handled a different way, or it may have been handled this way. Which way is right? We don't know, but we can go back in time and see what was done before, with it. I strongly suspect that it had to that the cabinet had a role in it.
I don't think so.
I strongly suspect that cabinet had a role.
I don't think so. It doesn't say anything about cabinet here. It doesn't say anything about cabinet decisions, because that would give cabinet decisions to veto or to not put forward any report about the democratic process in the country, and the Constitution did not intend that to happen, not intend that to go on.
I'm talking about the Susan. I'm talking about the modifications.
The governor might say, okay, I am going to ask you to accept the report, but I want you to modify this particular thing in the report to take that into consideration. That is what the governor has the duty to do, not the cabinet.
Interesting. Very, 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 very interesting on that one. Okay, let's leave that for now. Anything else that you want to mention? I'll mention the fact that I see, and I know you have an interest in these things because you're chairperson of the PR and Status Board. I see where the British Virgin Islands appear to be, they may fall into a similar trap that we fell into here in the Cayman Islands, where they're requiring, as a part of their permanent residency and status qualifications, that persons should, be involved in community service. That should be a part of it.
I hope it's not going to include walking dogs.
Well, my problem with it is that if you have people who want to live in a jurisdiction and be a part of that, you shouldn't have to require them to be involved in the community and to do community work. That should come automatic. If they're not interested in doing that of their own volition, to me, that in itself bars them. So you shouldn't say to them, you should be doing this or you should be doing that. What you should say that may factor into consideration, but don't make it prerequisite.
But what that shows, Mr. For the record, is that people who come from different jurisdictions to places like the British Virgin Islands and Cayman Islands really have no ambition or whatsoever to integrate in the society. And when you have to put legislation like that to force them to do community work, integrate into the community, that is you losing the whole emphasis and you're losing the whole reason for permanent residence from the beginning. That's what it seems to me. Have you seen the legislation now that they're going through trying to introduce into UK? When you become a belonger, when you become when you come a right to the right to reside, you cannot be out of the country for more than 180 days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So here
because what people are doing, and there's an article I read sometimes about. I think it's was it Bermuda, where they are talking about not allowing the expatriate worker to get the higher wages.
Oh yeah, yes.
Because they say right now, what he is doing, he is the Mr. X, who is not belonger, is taking the salary that he's making and he's building a house in his home and taking care of his children and sending them to university, while the belonger in his own territory cannot do the same thing with his salary.
Yep.
And therefore, it would be unconscionable to give the expatriate worker the same salary that you give the local worker, because that would increase the disparity between them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what do you think about that?
I can see that to a certain extent probably being challenged on
that's going to be challenged
grounds,
on discrimination grounds. Yes.
Yep. So the BVI says community involvement has become a mandatory criterion for eligibility under the Virgin Islands revised immigration policy. Applicants for permanent residency and belonger status must demonstrate active participation in community initiatives such as volunteering and civic engagements. A section of the recent policy document adopted by the government states, applicants for permanent residence and belonger status must show a commitment to the cultural values and social fabric of the Virgin Islands, including participation in community initiatives and an understanding of our history and traditions. Guidelines included in the policy document state that applicants should demonstrate a history of active and positive participation in their current communities. The document further noted that this can include volunteering, involvement in community projects or other forms of civic engagement that reflect a commitment to community well-being and solidarity. Applicants may demonstrate volunteerism through significantly sustained contributions to registered nonprofit organizations, civil societies, and whatever. So again,
the same thing what we have here already.
Yeah, similar that we,
similar
what we
to
have
what we
here.
have here already, and,
Yes.
and what we have here is not working.
It
for
isn't.
us.
It
not
it
working
isn't
for
working
us.
because what you're doing is you're baiting people. You're inviting them to do something that does not come natural to them.
And once they do that, and they obtain the requirements that they need, they're not going to do that again.
They discontinued after that. Yes.
Yes.
Doc, I want to thank you. Thank you very much for being here. I want to thank Miss Theresa as well. We know that she has other obligations that she's trying to balance all at the same time. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want, or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. As usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands and enjoy the long holiday weekend as well.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Digicel, Cayman's bigger, better network. And March for Jesus. 18th of May, visit Christian.ky for more information. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
Yesterday,
Today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.